So hello, and thank you, and welcome everyone to this online webinar. It's great to have you all here. My name is Osama Fayoun, and I'll be the host for this session. I'm accompanied today with our solution engineer, Vlad. Feel free to introduce yourself as well, please.
And hi guys, my name is Vlad, and I'm here today to accompany Osama and of course assist him and answer some of your questions if anyone wants that.
So today we'll be discussing Supernova's team plan. Throughout the webinar, we encourage you to ask any questions, share your thoughts and insights. The idea and the purpose of the webinar today is to understand the capability of Supernova's team plan and understand basically how you upgrade from a free or the basic plan of Supernova into the team plan, and what are the features and the limitations that you have per those kind of features in the team plan. Of course, this session will be followed by some other sessions to cover the other plans of Supernova and to highlight the differences. And by completing these kind of series of webinars, you'll be able to see where you fit best in terms of which plan is better for you and what would it mean to your design system in general. So before jumping into it, it's important to understand what Supernova is as a tool and understand the value that Supernova can bring to teams. Supernova is a design system management tool that focuses on creating design systems for your products. Um, Supernova focuses on three main parts that we think as Supernova create a single source of truth. The first part of it is content management that focuses on importing your design tokens, assets, and components from your Figma files, create tables for them in order to track them. And this is a nice way to get rid of your Excel spreadsheets and to get rid of the Figma libraries. The second part of Supernova is around documentation and how you build documentation of your products, of your brands, and of the design system that you're building. The third part of Supernova focuses on the code integration, basically interpreting your design decisions into a code in terms of assets and tokens. Of course, Supernova offers different type of exporters with different capabilities. We can discuss today how is that relevant to the team plan. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Basically start with the pricing page. So once you visit our website, Supernova, you will have the three type of basic plans that we offer: free, team, and company. Now, if you're starting as a new user, you perhaps are starting as a free user here. And this is where it comes to understand the differences as you upgrade and which team would suit you best. So today's will be main focus around the team and what would you get as you're moving from the free plan to the team. So as we mentioned, Supernova focuses on three main parts. The first one is design data features, which is around managing your tokens, components, and assets into libraries. The second part of it is around the documentation piece and the features that it offers. And then the third part is around your developers features, which is basically around the code integration part. So if I would come to the first part of the design data features, you see here that it says it allows you to have one design system in a free plan, but as you upgrade to the team plan, you'll be able to have two design systems. And what that means actually in here, so if I would come to my Supernova account, and by the way, this is the interface of Supernova, where you have the three main parts: design system, data, documentation, and the code integration part. And here basically is where you link your data sources. So having up to two design systems means you're going to be able to create two design systems in here per one workspace that you have created. Now, the idea of creating two design systems would be very valuable in case the products that you are developing or the design systems that you are building for your products are fundamentally different in terms of design and the design elements that are being used. A good example of that would be our own docs, Learn Supernova, that is built on a design system in a workspace as well. But we have built another design system that is dedicated towards developers, and using our design system switcher, I can move to a different design system that is targeting a different group of people. Now, Here, it's the same thing. I'm creating two design systems, SN Demo 1 and SM Demo 2. When I publish them, I will have the same experience. For me to be able to enable the design system switcher, first thing I would need to come is to come to settings, and then I would come to general, and I would need to make sure that I'm enabling the switch between design systems in documentation. So once that is enabled, I will have to choose what are the design systems that I would like to choose in here. So I have chosen the two that are enabled. Therefore, once I publish my documentation, I'll be able to switch between the two design systems that I have, 1 and 2. Now, another thing, another difference in here comes basically in terms of the data sources. The data sources in this section are referred to as the Figma files that you can link to your workspace and to your design system. Now, if I come back to my Supernova account and I would come to data sources in here, I would see there are multiple data sources linked in here. So the team plan would allow you to link to up to 5 data sources. That includes all the brands that you have. So if I have 3 data sources in here and another one here, I have in total 4. So as I'm upgrading from our free plan that allows me to only link 1 data source to 5 in the basically in the team plan. Now, at the same time, the team plan allows you to have more than 1 brand. So up to 2 brands at max. When you start in the free plan, you're allowed to have 1 brand per 1 design system per 1 workspace. But as you move forward towards the team plan, you're able to create another brand in here, click a new brand, which I've already added in here, brand B, and then I'll have 2 brands in total. Now, branding could be really useful in contrast to having separate design systems. The idea here is basically if you're developing 2 products that share common design elements, common values, and as of which, for example, you're developing a design system towards your iOS app and another one towards your Android app, it would come in handy having 2 brands in here because all of our custom blocks are brand aware, meaning if I would need to document the colors or the tokens for my first brand, all I need to do is basically do a backslash and then token group and then choose the brand that I have. This is my brand A, and I can do the same thing for my other brand, basically. Let's do only 1 color, and then I can do my other brand in here, a token group, color, but then I would choose another brand. This would be a great thing, basically, if you have 2 products that share similar design elements and you'd like to document them both in 1 design system. Now, of course, there are different ways that you can have them both in here in that 1 design system. If having them as 2 separate custom blocks is not ideal, you can create a block in here. Second, there you go. You can create tabs, and in the first tab, you can add your first custom block, and then in the other tab, you can add your other custom blocks. So here you have the token group towards brand B, and here you can have your token group towards brand A. So this way, I will not have them underneath each other. They're going to be in 1 block. And I only can switch between the tabs to switch between the brands that I have, basically. Now, another thing, another point of comparison that you can have in here. So we mentioned the data sources in the free plan. You're allowed to have 1 Figma file in here. And in a team plan, you're allowed to have up to Figma files per all the brands that you have, which are 2 in total. Now, themes in the free plan are accessible only for up to 1 theme. In the team plan, you're going to be able to have unlimited themes. And themes in Supernova can come in different ways. You can either create them inside of Supernova, or you can import them from a data source, which is basically a Figma file. To add any themes, for example, I'm in here, the first part of design system data, and I'd like to add a theme to my tokens. I can come here, click on the plus sign, click a new theme, and then give it a a name, and then give it a valid description, then choose where the theme is coming from. If it's coming from a data source as a Figma file, I can click the data source and link it in here. If it's not coming from a data source, if I'm building the theme myself in here inside of Supernova, then I can just click confirm, and then I'll be able to add the values for my new theme in here. Now, this theme comes directly inside Supernova. It is not coming from values that have been imported from Figma. When it comes to assets, we offer the same support. Here, um, we have the feature of automatic updates from Figma. So as you move to a team plan, you're gonna be able to enable the automatic updates as contracts to what you have in a free plan. And the automatic updates allows you to synchronize all the information from your Figma file to your Supernova file, as long as your library has been published. And what that what that means is basically when I come to my Supernova account and I would come to data sources, say for my brand B, when you would like to add, well, basically you can control it from here, but initially the way the pop-up page is like when you're trying to link your file in here, it asks you to allow automatic updates. By allowing this on, which is available in a team plan, all the information from your Figma file is going to be pushed into your Supernova account as long as it's being updated and published inside of your Figma. Now, I think the updates are being pulled out every 1 hour or so. In case you'd like to get the updates faster, you can always get the updates here manually. Now, this would be the main difference when it comes to the content management part. It's mainly around getting automatic updates from your Figma file. It's about the amount of themes that you can link per your design system. And it's also around how many design systems you can build in there. Now, the second part of it is around the documentation piece and what is possible to do in there. Now you can see at first at Supernova, we try to give you the same experience regardless of how big your team size is or how small they are. So for that, we're trying to match all the features for all the plans that we have with certain limitations per feature. So for example, if you would come here to public documentation, the free plan cannot have public documentation. It can have password protected, but as you move to the team plan, you can have your documentation set it private or public. And in order to set that up, you can come from here, settings, general, and then you can make your documentation public. The minute I will enable this, it means anybody who has the URL of my public documentation can have access to it. In contrast to when I have it private, it means I will have to invite the viewers that would like to view my design system one by one. And in order to do so, it should be pretty simple. Again, I come to settings in here, to team, and then I will extend my invite to my viewers where I click invite, choose the type of the editor of the rule that I'm giving to my to the people that I'm adding. A viewer in this case, which is free of charge. I'll just put in their email and extend the invite. Therefore, they're going to be able to see my design system once I give them the viewer right. Another thing is basically the custom documentation template. So that is not available in a team plan. For that, you will have to go into the company plan. And so as custom content blocks. So the custom content blocks is around customizing the contents that you have for your blocks one by one. And the second one is around removing the sidebar branding, which we refer to in here as, when I publish, for example, you have the branding of Supernova in here, powered by Supernova. This one, you will have it in a team plan, but as you upgrade to other plans, you can remove it, of course. Similar thing goes into SSO viewers and the custom domain. These properties could be customized as you go to higher plans of Supernova up top the team plan. When it comes to developers features, we offer pretty much the same experience, except for the number of automations that you can have basically for your exporters. But as a fundamental difference between team and the free plan is around private npm packages. So your node package JSONs can be private in your team plan. However, they have to be public only in your free plan. And so as for the code base behind your VPN, that could be customized only in the company plan in that regard. And again, as I mentioned, for when it comes to multi-brand, for the free plan, you can have up to one brand only. For the for the team plan, you will have two brands at max, and then as you upgrade to other plans, you have a limited amount of brands that you can add. When it comes to admin and security, basically, the viewers or the number of people that you can add once your documentation is private and you'd like them to view your account, basically, or your public documentation. Here in the free plan, you have up to 3 viewers. In the team plan, you will have up to 100 viewers. These viewers will have to be invited manually, one by one, as SSO is not enabled for the team plan. However, it will be enabled as you upgrade to other plans. Same thing with the editor accounts. For the free plan, you can start only with one, as it's a personal or a basic account. Once you move to a team, you can have a limited amount of editors. Now, Supernova, we're not trying to limit the amount of editors that you have or the consumption that you have per plan. Rather that we would like to customize the features and the limitation that you have. As your needs grow, probably you will need to upgrade the plan, but not around the needs of the number of editors that you have. The same thing comes with the centralized documentation. With the free plan, you don't have a centralized documentation in contrast to what you are going to have in the T plan. Now, this is a very small comparison that we would like to showcase usually of the different plans that we have, because we understand as customers are not very familiar with Supernova and they would need to understand which basic plan they fit most. They would like to see what are the features that are presented in each plan and basically how can they utilize them. So I'm just going to do a quick synchronization of what is the workflow should be like in Supernova. So the first thing, as mentioned, starts here in Figma. So you share your file from Figma as a data source. Just make sure, in case you'd like to get the most up-to-date details from your Figma account, synchronize back to your Supernova account. Make sure that you publish all of your styles here in Figma. Once it's been published, then all the up-to-date information will be pushed back to your Supernova account. Now, this is one way that you can link Figma to Supernova. Another way would be through the Token Studio that we're implementing a UI kit for in the next 2 weeks or so. The current setup that we have for it right now, it's through a CLI. So in case you use the Token Studio, you can still take advantage of it in the team plan by connecting through a CLI. But as we share the data source in here, the next step in the workflow is basically going back to your Supernova account, linking your Figma file in here, and allowing automatic updates to make sure that the most up-to-date information are pushed back into your Supernova account, and then you choose in here basically what type of blocks that you'd like to import into your account. Now, of course, for the purpose of the webinar, these design files have been imported into my account right away. Now, let's say I'm a plan user, and start by building my design system. Here, first thing I need to do is I need to create my workspace. Of course, every workspace has different set of users who have access to it. So, for example, if I come to this workspace and I would go to check my team in here, I would see 3 people in this or 4 people in this workspace. But as I'm switching my workspace in here, basically I will have a different set of of people working for this workspace. And these two teams do not interact with each other, do not have access to each other's workspaces unless the same person has access to both workspaces, like my case. This could be a good thing in case you are building two different products and you have two different set of teams and you don't want them to interact with each other's work and you'd like to grow these design systems separately. This would be a good approach for it. So in my design system here, I've created it, and the next step, I created my workspace. The next step for me is to create my design systems. As I mentioned in the team plan, we have up to 2 design systems, and this would come in handy, as I mentioned, in case your products are fundamentally different. Now, versioning with Supernova, I think we forgot to mention versioning here. Um, So with the free plan, you have up to 5 versions of your public documentation. However, as you move to the team plan, you will have unlimited amount of versions. Now, for the versioning here is basically where you can display the versioning. So as a team user, I can have unlimited amount of versions, not be restricted to 5. But in order for me to make those available for my viewers, I would need to come to settings. We need to go to the basically top navigation and show version drop down and enable it. Once I enable the show version drop down, basically as an editor, once I publish my design system in here, for example, it's my graph B, and I would publish my design system in here. um, I will have a list of different versions depending on what is it that I have published. Now, I think this would be all for the team plan, as the team plan is just the entry point to Supernova. It does not have so much complications, and also for the purpose of the time of the webinar, we don't want to get into too much details around what are the features of each thing that we offer in Supernova. Perhaps a more extended time for the company plan would require us to dig more deep into how to use the features of Supernova basically, and how to leverage them to your advantage.